Welcome to RawTake, everyone, a lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. I'm your host, Gion Thomas, and before we get into the show today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is facing multiple allegations of sexual assault. And he's getting pressure from New York Democrats like Chuck Schumer and AOC to step down and resign because of all the multiple allegations that he's facing. But before we get into the show and get into the meat and potatoes of everything, let's see what Andrew Cuomo had to say about resigning.
And I firmly believe, and my administration has always represented, women have a right to come forward and be heard, and I encourage that fully. But I also want to be clear. There is still a question of the truth. I did not do what has been alleged. Period. I won't speculate about people's possible motives, but I can tell you as a former attorney general who's gone through this situation many times, there are often many motivations for making an allegation. And that is why you need to know the facts before you make a decision. There are now 2 reviews underway. No one wants them to happen more quickly and more thoroughly than I do. Let them do it. I'm not going to argue this issue in the press. That is not how it is done. That is not the way it should be done. Serious allegations should be weighed seriously, right? That's why they are called serious. As I've told New Yorkers many times, there are facts and then there are opinions. And I've always separated the 2. When I do briefings, I put out the facts and then I offer my opinions. But they are 2 different concepts. Politicians who don't know a single fact, but yet form a conclusion and an opinion are, in my opinion, reckless and dangerous. The people of New York should not have confidence in a politician who takes a position without knowing any facts or substance. That, my friends, is politics at its worst. Politicians take positions for all sorts of reasons, including political expediency and bowing to pressure. But people know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth.
So, Andrew Cuomo is saying that there's pressure, that there's political pressure for him to resign, that people are looking to gain from him resigning, which that is true. People are looking for that seat of power. But when you're facing multiple allegations like this, it's showing a pattern. It's showing and that's a disgusting pattern. And not to mention, on Saturday, a Vanity Fair article dropped from his biographer and reporter. So this guy knows Andrew Cuomo. And he said that he has a history of predator behavior. That is disgusting. And the fact that he's getting a lot of pressure to resign, I mean, it looks bad on the Democrats in New York. So you're going to definitely have people trying to push him out. But I will say this. It is a little bit of an elitist take for other Democrats to come and try and push him out. It is up to the constituents of New York to get him out of office, and for them to go through the evidence and analyze that evidence and see if they still want him to be their governor. So I'm not for Democrats doing this big old push to try and get him out of office. I think it's up to the constituents. They need to look at the evidence. They need to analyze the evidence, and then they need to make that choice. But the evidence is there, though, and so the people will make the choice. I mean, that's just horrible. This is the thing with a lot of old school male politicians. Most dudes, I would probably say maybe 30, 35 and up. We'll just say that because some of those guys in their 30s, 35, they might be still part of the old political guard. And you know, people with power abuse it. They always abuse it. And so it's just Governor Cuomo is, I'm pretty sure he's over 50 years old. So he was raised in that era. He was brought up in that era where dudes were just slimy and they did weird things with women, like kissed them and just touched them automatically without their consent. And it's just, he's part of that old guard. So even if the allegation, like, let's say he wasn't even trying to rape somebody, but let's say that he was just being weird and touchy. That's still bad, and that's part of that old guard with men, and we just gotta weave them out. We just gotta weave them out and get them out of positions of power, because you know they're just not with the times. They don't understand. I mean, I feel like they do. You have to understand that, because you wouldn't want somebody just coming up to you, just touching you and just feeling on you and just invading your privacy and your space and your personal area. So it's these old men in power, and they try and use that power on anybody who they can try and bully. And unfortunately, it's always women. And it's horrible. And so, and it's not only this, it's also his handling of the elderly in the nursing homes, and how he handled the whole nursing home situation, and how they weren't counting the actual COVID numbers and all that and all of that. So he's facing a lot of stuff. It's not just the sexual allegations, it's the mishandling. And I think what politicians need to do is they need to wait until after the investigation and see what comes out of that. And then from there, that's when you go on a full-fledged attack and attack him. Don't go on a full-fledged attack and they're still doing investigations. We have to gather all the evidence. But that's not saying be quiet. Because once we got the evidence and once everything is solidified, then yeah, we go for his neck. We get him out of there. Because the Democrats, we got enough things we got to face. We don't need Republican-like people. We don't need people who are going to sexual assault women, who's going to harass women, who's going to try and use their power to bully women. We don't need that. We don't need that. No one in politics, no one in general, business, anywhere, any level, should be harassed, sexually assaulted. None of that. None of that. That should not be happening. But the evidence is there, and the evidence is building. So, who knows what's going to happen to Andrew Cuomo? And it's just a little sick sometimes how people, like his brother on CNN, and how he's just, like, he's not really reporting on any of this stuff. And I know why, because he's protecting his brother. He's looking out for his brother. But, man, that makes you look bad. You can't even call out your own family, or, I hope you're having conversations with him in private. I mean, like, come on, man. It's just bad. But guys, that's our show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any uploads. And also, you can find us anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Thank you. Have a blessed day.